Welcome to Interior Blockchain Studio, your go-to space for inspired design ideas. Today, we're diving into bedroom interiors with our expert guest on the podcast. Let's jump right into the podcast.
Welcome to this deep dive. We pull together insights from various sources to really get under the skin of a topic. And today, we're exploring how to create indoor spaces, specifically bedrooms, that feel really connected to the outdoors, thinking about that tropical vibe.
Yeah, but it's not just, sticking a few plants around, is it?
No, definitely not. The sources we looked at dig much deeper. It's about creating a whole sensory experience.
Right, something that really taps into that natural feeling.
So we'll be touching on architecture, materials, decor, that crucial outdoor link.
And the overall feeling, that sense of sort of natural luxury and calm you get from these spaces.
Exactly. So the mission here is to figure out how to bring that restorative calm, that refinement, into your own bedroom.
Okay, sounds good. Where do we start?
Let's start with the bones of the room, the architecture. Our sources kept mentioning floor-to-ceiling wooden doors and windows. Why are they so important?
Well, it's really about breaking down that barrier, isn't it? Between inside and out.
More than just a view.
Yeah, much more. They act like gateways.
Okay.
To the garden, a patio, whatever's out there. It creates what the sources call a living connection with nature.
The living connection. I like that.
You get the air, the sounds, but also just that constant visual feed of green, of life right outside. It apparently really helps with, mood and stress.
Makes sense. And what about the light? They talked about soft, natural daylight. How's that managed?
Light is absolutely key. You often see sheer drapes, maybe slatted screens.
To diffuse it?
Exactly, to soften it. So you get this ambient glow, not harsh sunlight. And what's really interesting is how that soft light plays on textures.
Oh, right. You mentioned textures.
Yeah, think about how it catches a clay wall or maybe woven panels or that sort of seamless micro-cement finish. It adds visual depth.
Those wall finishes, clay, woven stuff, micro-cement, they sound quite different from just, painted drywall.
Oh, completely. They bring in a tactile quality, an earthiness. Clay feels natural, micro-cement feels like stone. It engages the senses more.
So you've got the structure, the tactile walls, then the sources talk about thoughtfully layered spaces. What does that mean exactly? Is it just adding more stuff?
Not quite stuff. It's about adding richness, visual interest, but without clutter. Building depth.
Okay.
So feature walls are a big one, maybe hand-textured plaster you want to touch, or carved wood panels, artistry, craftsmanship.
And the beds. Lots of talk about teak, walnut, acacia wood, natural hardwoods.
Yes, very deliberate choices. These woods bring warmth, beautiful grain, that feeling of quality, and again, nature. And they often sit quite low to the floor, which can make the room feel more spacious, more grounded.
Right. And the fabrics follow suit. Linen, boucle, cotton, earthy tones, tropical greens. It sounds very cohesive.
Absolutely. Textiles are huge for the sensory side. Linen's got that slate texture, boucle is soft, cotton's just comfy. And the colors, earth tones, muted greens, they just scream tranquility, nature.
One detail I found interesting was wall niches. Not just shelves, but integrated features. What's the idea there?
Yeah, they're more than just storage. They're like little curated display moments.
Okay.
Places to put a sculptural vase or some organic wood art.
Yeah.
It adds personality, these little pockets of beauty.
Moving to the wider furniture, it all seems to echo that natural palette. Floating wood consoles, stone-top nightstands.
Rattan benches, cane-paneled wardrobes.
Yeah.
It all ties together. Floating pieces keep it feeling light. Stone adds that raw element. Rattan and cane bring texture, that tropical hint. It's harmonious.
And the lighting plays a big role in showing off these textures. Brass sconces, rope pendants.
Super intentional. Lighting sets the mood, right? Brass adds warmth, rope pendants add organic texture, and sometimes you see these big sculptural overhead lights that are almost art pieces themselves.
Okay, we can't really talk tropical bedrooms without digging into that outdoor connection. It sounds like it's more than just having a nice view.
Oh, way more. These rooms are designed to open up onto lush gardens, with palms, banana plants, heliconias.
Yeah.
Sometimes even vertical green walls right there.
Wow. And reflecting pools just outside glass doors? That sounds amazing. The light on the water.
Exactly. It adds another dimension. Movement, reflections bouncing into the room. It's calming, but dynamic. A really nice touch connecting to water.
And if you don't have a massive garden, I like the idea of built-in indoor planters.
Yeah, that's a great way to literally bring the green inside. Makes nature feel totally integrated, part of the room's structure almost. more intimate.
Even the decor reinforces it. Tropical prints, botanical art on the walls.
Built-in wood shelves with curated objects. Yeah, it's all part of creating that immersive feel. Rich, but connected.
What's interesting is how adaptable this seems. It's not just one rigid style, is it?
Not at all. That's a real strength. You see it interpreted in different ways, like sleek, modern minimalism, maybe with a big sculpted feature wall.
Or that Japandi style.
Right. That mix of Japanese minimalism and Scandi function. You might see louvered wood panels, maybe a bonsai. Very serene. Lots of natural materials there, too.
And you could have softer coastal touches?
Definitely. Ocean-colored linens, maybe sandy plaster walls, some rope mirrors, lighter, breezier.
Or organic modern?
Yeah, that's popular. Think microcediment walls again, sculptural wood furniture, maybe more subdued lighting, focusing on natural shapes.
So lots of variations.
But the core idea is always that blend. Design and nature. Using materials to create depth.
You keep coming back to texture. The sources really hammer that home. It's fundamental.
It absolutely is. It's about moving beyond flat surfaces. Think raw stone, smooth clay, maybe rough plaster or wood with a really deep grain.
You want to reach out and touch it.
Exactly. It engages touch, makes it more immersive, more grounding.
And these textures must look amazing with that soft, natural light playing across them.
Oh, for sure. They become canvases for light and shadow. It changes through the day, makes the room feel alive, visually rich.
And the furniture and decor pieces, they're not just there to look pretty, right? They have a function, often show craftsmanship.
Right. It's all intentional.
Yeah.
A palmwood side table, a solid oak floating shelf. They're chosen deliberately. They add to that story of natural beauty, skilled work, purpose behind each piece.
Okay, let's talk layout. Furniture placement. Sounds like it's very deliberate, often oriented towards the view.
Absolutely. You want to maximize that connection. So the layout is key for flow and, yeah, for framing those garden or water views.
Especially the bed, positioning it to face the view.
That's often the anchor. Centered on a feature wall, maybe aligned with the main view. It's about creating that sensory ritual when you wake up.
Waking up to nature as a sensory ritual. I really like that phrasing.
It sets the tone, doesn't it? First thing you see is green or water. Instant calm. And things like floating nightstands, low benches, they help the room breathe, keep the focus on that view, reduce the clutter.
And it's not just the bed area. You mentioned defining zones, like a reading corner.
Yeah, creating little zones makes the space more functional. A reading nook where the light is good, maybe a small desk facing the garden, makes everyday things feel more mindful, more connected.
Color obviously plays a big part too. Lots of grounding, natural palettes mentioned, warm browns, taupes, greens.
Very calming colors. They're chosen to make you feel relaxed, grounded. Browns and taupes for stability, greens directly linking to the plants outside, maybe some muted ochre for warmth.
And specific wall colors like soft clay, mushroom gray. Very neutral, soothing backdrops.
Exactly. They let the light and the textures do the talking. Nothing jarring, just calm and spaciousness.
And using green strategically in linens, art makes total sense for that feeling of renewal. And maybe little pops of accent color. Teal, rust.
Yeah, use carefully. Just to add a bit of depth or richness without breaking the calm. Teal like water, rust, or gold for warmth. But definitely avoiding anything too bright or synthetic. Keep it serene.
Okay, finally, let's talk lighting again. Especially layered, atmospheric lighting for the evening. Natural light is king during the day.
Right, that's the primary source. Diffused, soft, playing with shadows, essential.
But what happens when the sun goes down?
Then a well-thought-out lighting system takes over. It's all about layers to keep that warmth and tranquility.
So different types of lights working together. Recessed LEDs, pendants.
All sorts. Recessed warm LEDs for general ambiance, maybe highlighting something specific. Pendants and natural fibers like jute or cane add texture and focused light.
Wall sconces for reading.
Yeah, or just softer pools of light. Table lamps, maybe ceramic bases, linen shades, even floor lamps, sculpted wood, stone acting like subtle art pieces.
And I thought it was interesting how even the outdoor lighting, seen from inside, adds to the mood.
Isn't that great? Garden uplights, maybe reflections from a pool. They just gently bleed into the room at night. Blurs those boundaries even more. Enhances the piece.
It's all about supporting the day's rhythm, isn't it?
Totally. Alertness when needed, restfulness in the evening.
So putting it all together, this kind of tropical bedroom is much more than just aesthetics. It's crafting this whole sensory world.
Absolutely. It becomes a healing space, really. You hear the breeze, maybe birds. You feel the textures. You see the light change. It engages everything.
And emotionally, it creates that sense of escape, calm, a sort of quiet luxury tied to nature.
That's it, exactly. When it all works together, the architecture, furniture, light, the nature connection, it's a true sanctuary, an escape, a place for reflection, understated elegance, prioritizing comfort and nature.
So it really boils down to finding that balance.
Yeah.
Nature and comfort, simplicity and richness.
Structure and softness, grounded but also uplifting.
Yeah.
And when it's done thoughtfully, it's more than just design. It's like a lifestyle choice focused on well-being, harmony with nature.
This has been fascinating, really digging into how these serene, nature-focused bedrooms are created. The big takeaway for me is that intentional blend weaving nature into our personal space for restoration, and yes, that touch of luxury.
Definitely. And maybe for everyone listening, it sparks an idea. You know, how could you bring just a small piece of this into your own bedroom?
It doesn't have to be a total overhaul.
No? Maybe it's a new textured blanket, or just opening the windows more often for the light and sound, or even one really great plant.
Thinking about how to boost your own well-being, that connection to nature, wherever you are.
Exactly. So the thought to leave with is, what's one small intentional step you could take this week to bring a bit more of that grounded, natural luxury into your own personal retreat?
You sent over some brilliant inspiration, a real mix of sources, and we've sort of boiled it down. We're looking at the core ideas and, the practical steps you can actually take.
Right. The goal is basically to figure out how to capture that calm, that natural vibe of the tropics, bring it indoors.
Exactly, no matter the size of your bedroom or, frankly, where you live.
And it's interesting to see how this plays out in different settings. We should maybe look at two extremes.
Good idea. Like start with those, incredible sprawling tropical villas you see, the ones designed for pure indoor-outdoor living.
Yeah, those are amazing. Places where you can literally step out of your bedroom into a garden. Maybe there's an outdoor bathtub tucked away.
Or a little plunge pool just steps from the bed, surrounded by like natural stone, beautiful tile.
Yeah, and the architecture itself helps make that connection. You often see things like cantilevered roofs.
Ah, right, where the roof extends out past the walls.
Exactly. It gives you shade, but also this really open feeling. And then there's the flooring continuous stone, maybe flowing right from inside to outside. Blurs the lines completely.
And those huge sliding glass walls, the ones that just disappear.
The multi-panel ones, yeah, they literally open the whole room up. It's pretty spectacular.
And the materials in those places, they just feel so grounded, so earthy.
Totally. Lots of reclaimed teak, wood with history, warmth.
Sustainable too, often.
Right. And then maybe rough cut limestone for texture against, say, polished concrete. And woven bamboo panels. Adds that light, airy quality.
It's all about that tactile richness, isn't it? It feels so natural.
Absolutely. And the furniture matches that scale, that sophistication. Big platform beds, maybe custom wardrobes in these gorgeous warm woods.
Freestanding vanities, really thought out lighting. It feels luxurious, but understated.
Yes, spacious elegance.
Okay, so now let's pivot completely. Think about maybe a compact city bedroom, much smaller space.
Right. Maybe just a small balcony with some pots, or even just window box.
But the goal is still the same, right? That feeling of flow, calm, greenery.
Exactly the same core desire. You just have to be maybe a bit more clever about how you achieve it in a smaller footprint.
Less about grand architecture, more about smart choices.
Precisely. If you can't knock down walls, you use visual tricks, like framing whatever view you do have is suddenly really important.
Even if it's just looking out onto a few nicely chosen plants.
Especially then. It makes a huge difference. And bringing plants inside, obviously, is key in really nice, maybe designer ceramic pots.
You mentioned a banana leaf plant. I love that idea. Instant height, real impact.
Or like a little cluster of potted palms. Creates a mini oasis feel, or maybe a philodendron just cascading down from a shelf. Adds that touch of, wildness.
Yeah, they really change the whole mood.
And for renters, or where you just can't make big changes, there's so much good stuff now. Like peel and stick textures that look like wood or stone.
Oh, those are clever.
Yeah. Or modular lighting you can move around. Fabric wall panels for softness and texture. Even helps with sound.
And just choosing freestanding furniture with those nice organic shapes and finishes works without commitment.
Exactly. No permanent changes needed.
It's pretty amazing how adaptable this style can be. So, okay, comparing the huge villa and the small city room, what are the sort of bedrock principles, the things that have to be there?
Well, like we said, that core idea, flow, serenity, bringing the green in, that's constant. It's about creating that escape, that connection to nature, whatever the scale.
And the materials that focus on touchable, natural surfaces.
Definitely, that tactile quality, whether it's massive stone slabs in a villa or just, a simple jute rug in an apartment, it grounds the space in nature.
What about furniture then? Obviously, the size changes things drastically.
Hugely. Villas can handle those big statement pieces. But in the city, it's all about multifunction, smart design.
Like beds with storage underneath, or floating designs that look lighter.
Exactly. Or wall-mounted lights instead of lamps taking up table space.
Yeah.
Custom wardrobes that use the height of the room.
Keeping things uncluttered seems vital.
Oh, absolutely. And creating cohesion is key in both scenarios, actually.
How so?
By repeating tones and textures. Maybe matte clay paint on the walls, natural jute rug, wood nightstands, maybe some brass or cane accents.
Ah, right. So it feels curated, intentional.
Precisely. It pulls everything together, makes it feel calm and harmonious, regardless of the room size.
Okay, let's tackle some challenges. What if your bedroom is, well, just a box, no great view, maybe not much natural light? Can you still get that tropical feel?
Yes, definitely. You just need to lean more heavily on the indirect stuff. Light diffusers can help soften artificial light, make it gentler.
Instead of harsh overheads?
Exactly. Textured curtains, even if they're sheer, add softness, depth. And mirrors are your best friend than bouncing around whatever light you do have.
Makes the space feel bigger, brighter.
Right. And you mentioned before, engaging the other senses becomes even more crucial when the visuals are limited.
Scents and textures.
Absolutely. Like woven wall panels add that tactile element. Lamps made of clay bring in an earthy feel. Choosing really nice tactile fabrics for bedding, throws. It really elevates the experience.
And that idea of a micro garden, even just on a tiny balcony, I love that.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Just having some living green right there. You can use tropical container plants, maybe some hanging vines, fragrant herbs like mint or lemongrass.
Ooh, nice. Add scent, too.
Exactly. It just triggers that feeling of being connected to the outdoors, even in a small way.
Now, budget. Always a factor for most of us. What are some wallet-friendly ways to bring this vibe in?
Yeah, good point. You don't need a massive budget. Focus on the key impact areas. Lighting, textiles, greenery.
Okay.
So, upgrading light fixtures to warmer tones, maybe dimmable ones, in natural materials like rattan or bamboo. That alone makes a huge difference to the mood.
Yeah, lighting is powerful. When you say warm tones, are we talking about specific light bulbs? Like a Kelvin rating?
That's a great question, actually. Yeah, for that relaxing, sort of cozy tropical feel, you're generally looking in the 2700K to 3000K range.
Okay, 2700 to 3000 Kelvin.
Good tip. It gives that softer, more yellowish light, not the harsh bluish light you get from higher Kelvins. Much more inviting.
Right, makes sense.
And then textiles. Swapping out your bedding for linen, maybe adding a natural fiber rug jute, sisal, or even just a textured wall hanging like macrame or woven grass. Relatively low cost, big impact.
And plants, of course.
And plants. A few well-chosen potted tropicals don't have to break the bank, but they instantly add life and that lush feeling.
So let's dig into some specific worries people might have. Humidity control came up, especially for listeners in tropical places.
Ah, yes. Crucial point. High humidity is tough on materials, especially wood.
Right.
So if you live somewhere humid, choosing woods that are naturally resistant, like teak or cedar, is smart. Teak has those natural oils.
Makes it durable.
Exactly. Resistant to moisture, decay. And then, practically, a good dehumidifier can be a lifesaver. Or using ventilation fans effectively.
And you mentioned just opening windows when it's cooler.
Simple but effective. Natural airflow helps a lot. And choosing fabrics that wick moisture linen, cotton for bedding, upholstery makes a big difference to comfort.
Louvered windows, too, if the house design allows. Good for ventilation.
Definitely.
Okay, back to lighting for a sec. Getting that balance between natural light and artificial light, that sounds tricky.
It can be a bit of a balancing act, yeah. But layering helps. So during the day, maybe sheer curtains or light filtering blinds to soften bright sun.
Diffuse it nicely.
Exactly. Creates a soft glow. Then in the evening, you bring in those warmer artificial lights, lamps made of bamboo, wicker, rattan, like we said. Creates that cozy feel.
And dimmers are key, you said.
Absolutely essential. Gives you total control over the mood, the intensity, anytime.
Sustainability is on a lot of people's minds now when decorating. How does that fit with a tropical theme?
Well, it fits really well, actually.
Yeah.
Look for furniture made from sustainable sources, properly managed teak or bamboo plantations.
Okay.
Reclaimed wood is fantastic too. Adds character, uses existing resources. Cork is another great one. Renewable, good for sound insulation.
And textiles.
Opt for organic cotton, linen, hemp. Better for the environment, healthier for your home, too.
Right. Now, the fun part for many of the plants. Which tropical plants actually do well inside?
So many good ones. Bird of Paradise is stunning. Fiddle-leaf figs are very architectural.
Bit temperamental, though, aren't they?
They can be, yeah. Need the right spot. But philodendrons come in tons of varieties. Snake plants are super easy, almost indestructible.
Ah, good old snake plant.
And Monstera deliciosa, the Swiss cheese plant. Iconic. The key is variety in leaf shape and texture, trying to mimic that jungle canopy feel, even small scale.
Creates more interest.
Exactly. And think about how you display them. Hanging planters draw the eye up. Small ones on shelves, grouping them together, creates that lush mini jungle effect.
Nice. And what about art or things on the walls? How do you pick stuff that fits the theme but isn't? Well, cheesy?
Yeah. Avoid the cliches, right? Think abstract. Art that suggests tropical colors, textures, forms, rather than literal pictures of beaches.
Okay. More evocative.
Exactly. Hand-painted ceramics add a nice touch. Woven wall hangings bring in texture and craft. Handcrafted baskets, maybe? Earthy tones?
Tying back to the natural materials?
Right. It's about enhancing that calm, natural feel without cluttering the space or making it look too themed, you know?
Got it. Storage is always practical, especially in small rooms.
Right.
Any clever tropical-friendly ideas?
Built-ins are always great if possible. Floating shelves look clean, blend in. Underbed drawers are invaluable. Sliding wardrobe doors save floor space.
Instead of doors swinging out.
Right. And use your vertical space. Tall, narrow bookshelves, hanging baskets, anything to keep surfaces clear. A clutter-free space feels much calmer, more serene.
Absolutely. So we've covered a ton. Villas, city rooms, light, materials, plants, storage. But when it comes down to it, what really makes it work? What's the secret sauce?
Honestly, I think it's personalization. Making it yours. Adding those touches that reflect you.
Yeah.
Your favorite plant and pride of place, maybe a piece of art you love, even just how you arrange your throws. That's what gives it soul.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's taking these ideas, the light, the textures, the nature connection, the thoughtful choices.
And filtering them through your own style.
Yeah.
Letting nature be a co-designer, like you said.
Right.
If you do that, you end up with a space that doesn't just look good, but feels like a real sanctuary. A calm retreat that connects you back to nature.
Lovely. So for everyone listening, maybe think about your own bedroom. Could adding just one or two of these elements change how it feels, bring in a bit more calm, more nature? What small thing feels like the right place to start for you?
A great question to ponder.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
If you found this video helpful or inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Interior Blockchain Studio for more expert design ideas, trends, and creative inspiration. Your support helps us bring you even more amazing content, so make sure to turn on notifications and stay updated with our latest uploads. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.